Ooh, harmonica.
Welcome to the Happy Half Hour.
Welcome to the
Piano
Happy Harmonica Half Hour.
Another H, the triple H. Happy
We got
Harmonica.
4
Hour.
H's now.
Ooh, careful now. 4 H's. That I think that's close to like the people that take care of all the farms. Oh, that's 4 F's. Never mind. All right. Anyway, we are live on Chatmosa. We're live on TikTok, and we will have this thing broadcast to any place you want to look for us and find us after we are done. But I am Joseph Mojo McCarthy here with my illustrious co-host and dear friend, Steve O'Hayes. Steve O, greet the people. Let them know what you're up to, what you're all about.
I am illustrious. What more do you know? I'm not even sure if that's a compliment or a cut down, to be honest with you, but that's what I am. If Joe said it,
it is what you make it, Steve O.
Okay. I'm Steve O. I'm a happypreneur. I'm a messenger. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you find your happy, turn your happy on, and then walk alongside you. That's why we created Happy Life Studios in the first place. We want to increase the happy. We want to pour you some digital courage today. So that's what we're doing here. That's me. I'm a messenger. I love to help. I want to increase the happy online. There's a lot of negative online. There's a lot of people yelling at each other online. There's a lot of people taking sides online. Let's just have a drink together. Can we just have a happy half hour drink, a digital drink, and pour some courage to each other as well? Joe, tell us a little bit about you for those that don't know who you are.
And before we do, where do people find you online, Steve O'Hayes?
Happylife.studio. It's real simple. Or you can go to happylife.lol. That one's an easy one to remember too. But happylife.studio, and you can get all of our information there. In fact, we would appreciate if you do us a favor. And if you just found our social media, whatever social media you enjoy, find us on there. Just search Happy Life Studios anywhere, and you should be able to find us. We've been doing this a long time. And just share it or like it or comment on it or whatever. Help us spread this happy. We need your help to do it. We don't always get a lot of help from the I don't think I'm angry enough. I don't think I create enough controversy. Right. I think I'm too happy for a lot of these social media platforms to push me. But I'm not going to go down the other path because there's something more important than likes. It's you. It's you, listener. And we want to increase your happy life. That's why Mojo and we've been talking about this for years, and we are finally doing it. And we've been doing it. I mean, what are we on? Episode 20 or something
20.
now? So
episode 20, baby. Yes.
Love it. Love
it. So great. So Steve-O, and I just want to tag on what you said before I introduced myself, that, we have the opportunity to help each other, not just you and I, but those that tune in, whether you're on TikTok or whatever platform you are, without spending any money. We're not asking for you to spend money or invest money. We're asking you to do a few things that will take you less than 30 seconds. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Any or all of those things is your way, listener, of ways saying thank you. Thank you that Steve-O and I have dedicated our time, which is valuable. And this is not a plug to say how great we are. This is to say the one way you can say thank you to any creator online, not just us, is to like, to comment, to share, and to subscribe. And those
things might not be great, but I am illustrious.
Illustrious, right? You are illuminated. You are illustrious. And I am Joseph Mojo McCarthy. I'm host here with Steve O'Hayes. I am a certified master transformation life coach. And I'm also a playful polymath. I love music. I love creativity. I'm a podcaster because of Steve O'Hayes' influence on my life. Oh, he's over there. My camera's backwards. And we are here, as Steve O said, we're teaming up after decades of friendship to say, hey, what if we collaborate on this mission that we're on, this mission to spread the happy-demic. And so we are doing it together. And I got to tell you, Steve, it's a blast. I look forward to it. You increase my happy just knowing that we're going to be live together. So
right on. Same here. Same here. Do we dare want to let out the bag what we're thinking about, or we want to wait till
not yet? No, not yet. We got to talk.
Right. Work out the details. That's my problem. I always am ready to just yeah.
We
got some stuff in the works possibly, though. That could be some really cool, happy, life-changing stuff. We're hoping anyway. So
yes, it's in the hopper, and we will announce that. So that's a good reason to tune in again to one of our other episodes when we make the announcement of what we've got cooking. Steve-O, I know you've got a Steve-Opedia prepared, and some of the people who are tuning in may not even seen the Steve-Opedia. But would you share that with us
when I would love to.
All right, cool.
Mary says I'm still getting a terrible echo. And it looks like my volume is down on TikTok. Is it still there, Mary?
Echo gone on TikTok. Right on. Thank you, Mary.
Echo gone on TikTok. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you for being our ears and eyes separate.
It's not
All right.
gone, guys. It's not gone
It's not gone.
Oh, it's not gone.
on TikTok.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how to
It
fix
means-
that. My volume is down.
Two
My
mic
volume
throw.
is off. Can you still hear me when my volume is off on TikTok?
Should be able to, because the volume is for you to hear, not for you to pick up on the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Your volume down. That's what I'm doing as well.
All right.
All right. So, Steve-opedia.
Steve-opedia. This one's fresh, hot off the press. Just
Yeah.
finished this one today. Let's
All right.
go.
Let's go. And for those of you that are on Chatmosa, you'll be able to see the Steve-opedia broadcast on the Jumbotron here. TikTokers won't be able to pick that up. So that's one good reason to join us on chatmosa.com. By the way, you don't have to start any new accounts to be on Chatmosa. All you have to do is log in with any of your existing social media accounts. As my friends say, Chatmosa is like the hallway of the internet where everybody gets to meet together, no matter what platform you start on. So Steve-opedia, please.
We're on a mission. We're on a mission. We're on a mission from God. Hit it. Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yep, there are only 3 types of people in this world: those that know math and those that don't. What? I like what my friend Becky says even better. She says there's 2 kinds of people in the world: the givers and the takers. The takers eat well and the givers sleep well. I also like what Proverbs says in chapter 11, verses 24 and 25. The world of the generous gets larger and larger. The world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. The one who blesses others is abundantly blessed. Those who help others are helped. You want to sleep better tonight? Be a giver, not a taker. Psalm 37:21 says, "The righteous give generously." You want to sleep well? Learn to give well.
Right on!
What's that one?
Right on. What do you think?
I love it. Your Steve-opedias are so creative, just like you. And thank you, Mary, for the technical stuff in the background. That was very good. She's realized that TikTok was picking me up through my phone and also then through the speakers. And so anyway, we got that covered. Thank you, Mary. And let's talk about your Steve-opedia. Steve-o, what was the impetus? What was the fire that lit you up to talk about that?
I was talking with a friend of mine, and they said there are 2 types of people in the world: givers and takers. And when she said that givers, sleep well, takers might eat well, but they don't always sleep well. They're not always at peace. And if you think about it, the reason why we want money, the reason why we want more power, because we think we'll sleep well. We think the more we have control, the more we have, the more peaceful we'll be. But oftentimes the opposite happens. Like, I don't want to take from people. And there's a lot of people out there that like to take. There's a lot of people out there that only care about their likes or their bank account or whatever. And you can take all you want. I mean, in America anyway, it's a free country, right? But you're just not going to sleep as well. I mean, if money made you happy, then all rich people would be immensely happy, right? But it's not true. And yet we know that. And yet we still continue to go after that. We tend to go after, if power made you happy, then all powerful people would be happy. But there's a lot of powerful people that are not. And simply to get happy, to get peaceful, just be a giver. A giver, you sleep well. Maybe if you're worried about your bills, but still there's something peaceful about just being a giver instead of being a taker. I've got a friend, his name is Fedge. It's Jeff backwards, actually. He took that because, well, anyway, I won't go into all the details of that, but he's really good at poker. And he's good at all the games at the casino. He stopped playing poker as much because he went more to blackjack. When you win at blackjack, you win against a house, right? But when you win in poker, someone else has to lose. And that's the game of poker, right? When you sign up for it, that's the game of poker. But I love this. I did a whole podcast on it, actually. I love that mentality of I want to get, but if I have to get by taking from somebody else versus them giving to me, he said, I don't want to have anything to do with that. And I think that there's just I just think there's something about that if we focused more on giving than we did on taking, I think that we would be more at peace than we currently are, whether you're peaceful or not.
Wow, it's good stuff. So many things are running through my mind as you're talking about this. I can't imagine too many topics more important than this. So
Mm.
I'm going to talk about two influencers on my life, one that you're intimately aware of and one that you're just aware of. So the first one is Tony Robbins. You're aware of Tony Robbins. He says, of all the things Tony Robbins says, he's a brilliant guy. He says the secret of living is giving. Right up the same theme of what you're talking about. The secret of living
Yeah.
is giving. Now, Rick Olson, who is your mentor and mine, who inspired much of the things that we talk about and how we've become public speakers, he says the same thing. He says, living is giving. That's the way he puts it. They say the same thing. We're coming from totally different backgrounds, different angles, different belief systems even, and they both came up with the same conclusion. And that's really interesting. And the other several images came to mind, but one is at the San Diego Zoo, when you're coming down the bottom trail, there's this one enclosure that has gibbons, which is a type of monkey, and takins, Takins, which is like,
Really? For
Yeah.
real?
and the gibbons and the takins are in the same enclosure. And I thought, who's going to win?
That's hilarious.
That's what came to mind, which is very random. Squirrel. Okay. But here's the thing about this idea of giving and taking. So when I was little, Steve-O, and I'm sure many people who are listening heard this as well, they say, and this is whoever they are, that it's better to give than to receive. That's a very common and kind of a trite phrase because we've heard it so often. And I got to tell you, as a child, I was like, I beg to differ. I've been at Christmas time, and I know that when the gifts are for me, I'm much happier when I'm giving the gifts away. Again, a very juvenile attitude. What I didn't understand then, which I'm really embracing now at this stage of my life, is that in the act of giving, there is something that happens in that transaction where I am receiving as I give. I'm not receiving the gift. I'm receiving that sense of joy of giving, the purpose of giving, feeling like I'm going to make somebody else's life a little better. I can't wait to see them open it because I want to see the joy on their face. I get to feel some of their joy. So when I'm giving, Steve-O, I get a reward in the act of giving. And then, as we both know, and many people talk about the law of reciprocity, sowing and reaping, the more you give, the more you get. But here's the difference here, Steve-O, and I want to get your take on this. There's this idea that I give to get, because I know when I sow, I'm going to reap. Whatever I plant, I'm going to harvest. We talk about that. But that's like the purpose is I'm giving so that I can get, which is a bit on the selfish side and narcissistic kind of, right? So what I'm trying to flip is rather than I give to get, I'm embracing this idea that I get to give. Giving is a gift. The fact that I have something that I can give, even if it's not of monetary value, that I can give a smile, a word of encouragement, as we're talking about here, the digital courage that we're sharing on here, I get to do that. Something that I say, something that I do, something I give makes somebody's life a little bit better. That's a sense of purpose, right?
Yeah.
So I love that. The giving is better than receiving because I receive in the act of giving. And then, of course, the universe, God, whatever you want to say it, will reward me as well.
Yeah, you bring up a really, really good point there. And I've got a couple angles on it that could almost even seem opposing. And oftentimes in life, I think that we always want to say there's one answer. I think sometimes the answers do tend to oppose each other. I don't know how to explain that any different than that. And we could talk about that someday as well. But the kind of the opposing thoughts that we have here are, on the one hand, the Bible is full of quotes that say, if we do this, then God will do this, right? All sorts of other things in life are, or if you do this, then here's the like the mathematical equation, right? If you, then they, right? If you, then I, right? We tell our children that when we're raising them. You know, if you'll do this, if you'll eat your food, then we'll get ice cream afterwards. If you eat all your food, or if our life are full of if we, then he, okay, or if you, then I. And there's something good about that. It gives you a reward. It gives you a reason to do what you're doing. If you'll work hard, you'll sleep well, right? If you give, you'll sleep well, that type of stuff. There's also another side of that too, where if I give to get in return, then I have another motive for my reason of giving. You know, the Bible talks about all these different kinds of love. The Bible says that one of the highest forms of love, what was from the Greeks back in the day, they had several words for love. I heard this once too, that the Greeks actually thought this was the lowest form of love, but the Bible always flipped everything on its head and said it was the highest form of love. Joe, you know this love because you talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
It's agape. It's an unconditional love. It's I love just because, right? I painted my chiropractor's office and their whole thing. And in their back office, they've got a door that goes out into the main, thing, and they have a sign there that they read every time, to open the door to go out to where the people are at. They have a sign that says, just give because you're giving, just help because you're helping, just, and I'm butchering it a little bit, but it had 3 points to it. Give because you can give, be nice because you can be nice, and don't expect anything in return. Number one, that takes the pressure off of me. When I just give to give, I don't have to worry about, how many times do we give to people that are begging on the side of the road, and I've heard this so many times from friends of mine, and I've just changed my whole mentality on it. Like, well, if I give money, they're just going to spend it on, who cares what they spend it on? Okay. They're in a needy position. If I was living in their shoes, I might spend it on that as well, because it's not easy doing what they're doing. That's giving to get something in return, or that's giving like, I'm going to be in control of their, no, then if that's going to be the case, then go buy them a meal instead. Right. So on the one hand, there's something to be said about if you give, you're going to get something in return. And sometimes we need that motivation. But on the other hand, if I'm giving to get something back, that almost feels, honestly, it almost feels a little bit like manipulation. Like, I love you. I said, I love you, waiting for them to say they love you back.
Right.
I just know when someone gives to me and when someone gives to me and they're expecting me to give back, it doesn't mean nearly as much to me. I still take it. I love, period. Right. And when someone's to be kind to me, I'll take it. But when they're just being kind to be kind and they're not expecting anything back, that's a level for me that takes it to a different level.
Yeah. So the thought that comes to me as you're talking about there, a couple of things. One is, am I giving to get, which is a transaction with an expectation of something to
I
get
like that.
Or am I giving because I'm a giver, right?
Mm.
It's my identity. It's not something I do. It's who I am. This is the difference between being and doing. And oftentimes we live in a society now, Steve-O, that says, hey, what's your name? That's the first question. And what do you do? As if what you do is your identity.
Right.
And the truth is, we are human beings, not human doings. And what you're tapping into is something really, really important. That, like, if we talk about agape love, unconditional love, it's love that just is. It's not love for something back in return, which is a transaction. It's love that is. And I'm like, I want to embrace that as my identity. I'm a giver, not because I'm receiving something, but just because it's who I am. So here's a great example. I read this, and I believe it was Henry Nouwen. I may be wrong about the author, but Henry Nouwen, amazing author, whether this was his story or not, he's worth looking into. But one of these great spiritual authors was talking about how after decades of marriage, his wife started to being debilitated by dementia. And then she got hospitalized. And every day he would go in and he would talk to her, he would sing to her, he would pray with her. And then she started to not recognize him.
Mm.
Then she started to get angry when he walked in the room because she felt threatened. And she would swear at him, had no idea who he was, and basically abuse him. And he would keep going every day. He would go and he would talk to his wife, he would sing to her, and he would pray with her. Now his friends who are watching this whole thing, his very dear friends, believers even, they're like, hey, why are you still going in there? She doesn't know that you're there. She doesn't remember that you came, and she abuses you when you go.
Yeah.
And whether it was Henry Nouwen or whoever it was, his answer just like a lightning bolt to my heart. He says, believe it or not, this is the first time in our marriage I really understand what love is. And
wow.
His friend said, what are you talking about?
Wow.
He says, no, most of my marriage, it's been a transaction. I love you if you love me back. I give to you if you give back to me. And it's been this back and forth, hoping that it's kind of evens out over the years. He says, for the first time in my life, I walk in that room and I know my wife can give nothing back to me. So anything I give to her is finally detached from the transaction. I'm loving her because love, that's what love does. not because I expect, because I can't get anything back from her. She doesn't even know who I am. She's scared of me. She abuses me, whatever it is. And I was like, that's what love looks like? Holy cow. That's what true giving looks like? How do I get there, Steve? How do we get there, man?
Man, that is deep.
Seriously.
That is really deep.
Wide. It's deep and wide, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
I almost don't want to move forward from that. I mean, I feel like oftentimes, especially when something deep or good happens, we're always moving.
Yes.
Especially in America. Go, go, go. Move, right? We're always moving to the next thing. But I just want to sit in that for a second. I mean, here's a man, and I believe that he dedicated the rest of his life, if I'm thinking of the same guy, dedicated the rest of his life to helping people that couldn't help themselves.
That's right.
That could give nothing back. He just gave. And I just know this, is that, when you love somebody and they love you back, man, what an incredible exchange. It's amazing. Okay. But love feeds you, period. When you love somebody and they don't love you back, you are still getting something in return. And oftentimes we're expecting, here's a thought. We're expecting the thing or the person that we love, because sometimes it's things we love. We love money, so we think money is going to love us back. Well, it's an inanimate object. It's not going to. I saw a movie the other day that talked about something about, you are what you worship. And so people worship money and they become money, and they're just not always happy. When you love something and you get love back from it, or love someone, you get back love from it, it's great. But that's because love gives. It isn't just because. So if you love somebody and they don't love you back, you're still getting something in return, because love gives back. Love gives back, and it doesn't always happen from the person that you may be expending that love on, right, but it is going to come back into your lap, into your life, into your heart, into your mind, into your soul, your spirit, because that's what love does. You just can't outgive it.
Yeah. Well, our guest, Awesome Mary, down in the listeners' lounge, she looked up the author on that quote about the lady, and it's actually Robert I don't know if I can spell it.
McQuilkin?
Wilkin, former president of Columbia Bible College. That was the one who was, and he said, quote, "It was a joy to care for her. She had cared for me for almost 4 decades. Now it was my turn. It was a joy." This actually ties into what we talked about a couple episodes back about the joy of suffering. Robert McGilkin walked into that room knowing he was going to suffer for loving his wife. She was going to pound on him. She was going to scream at him. She was going to be afraid of him. She certainly wasn't going to say thank you, nor was she going to give him anything back. And he did it for the joy of loving her, the joy of loving, not the joy of what I'm getting, but the joy of giving, right? And it is deep, and it's a challenge. But I think this is a challenge worth biting into, right? Sometimes we get challenges come along, they come and they go, and we're like, what's the return on my investment, right? What's the ROI? That seems like a lot of work with very little return. And I'm of the opinion, just as I kind of get a little taste of what this is all about, this might be the best return of all when I free myself from the expectation of being loved back. Because I got to tell you, Steve, that sets me up for disappointment all the time. I'm giving, I'm doing, and for whomever, it might be somebody in my family, someone at work or whatever, and I think, yeah, they're going to see my good works, and they're going to pat me on the back, and they're going to give me hugs and thank me, and they're going to think I'm so great, and then they don't, and I'm like, that just sucks, right? And all of the joy of giving gets sucked out of me because they didn't respond the way I expected them to.
Right.
It's not their fault. I set myself up for disappointment with the expectation that I'm going to get back exactly what I gave from exactly who I gave it. And I love what you were saying there, Steve, is that love will come back to me. That's what love does. But it's not going to be immediately, and it's not going to be necessarily from the people I give it to or the way I expect it. But if I keep myself open and receptive and believe that I'm not doing this to get anything returned. This is who I am. It's my identity. Well, eventually love will return to me. It'll just be in a way I didn't expect.
Yeah. And this concept here ties into that. Why are we giving? Like, if I'm giving to get something in back, then maybe I'm giving out of love. Maybe I'm giving out of selfishness, and oftentimes is the opposite of love. It's self-love, right? I guess. Just because you give doesn't mean that you're loving at that point. Because sometimes, there's times when we give because we have to give. because we feel guilty, or because it's our work, or because the boss said so, or because mom and dad said so. And we give. The Bible even talks about giving with a grateful heart, right? Which means that you can give with an ungrateful heart. You can give if you're just given to get something in return, then I'm not saying this I'm not saying there's shades of gray here, but if I just give to get something in return, that might not be loving. But if I'm giving to out of love, just because I want to give, because I'm a giver, because giving out of compulsion isn't fun. Plato said something along the lines that says learning under compulsion has no hold on the mind. And I think giving under compulsion is the same thing. When we give out under compulsion, it doesn't have a whole lot of hold on the heart, doesn't have a whole lot of freeing in the spirit. When we give to just give, and that's what the back of the door said, that now that you mentioned that said, give for the sake of giving.
Yes.
Love for the sake of loving. And there was a third one in there too. And then it said, and expect nothing in return. And what a great mentality to take on life. Give for the sake of giving. Don't expect anything in return. And that might seem counterintuitive or counterproductive, but I promise you it is freeing. When you just give to give and not worry about whether you get anything back, it takes all the pressure off. Yeah. Otherwise, and that's what expectations do. We set these expectations, and then when they're not met, we'll do whatever we can to get that other person or that thing to fit into that. We'll pressure, we'll beg, we'll plead, we'll force, and the truth is the easiest thing is just to move our expectation, right? So if I'm just going to give, now there's no expectation. I just get to bless people. And sometimes when I don't know what else to do, if there's two paths sometimes of which decision I should make, and it's maybe not even a life decision, but I'm going to choose the decision oftentimes that I can give more. Right? The decision where I can love more. And sometimes when I don't know what to do, when I'm stuck, when I'm in a bad place, I want to go love, right? I just want to find someone that I can love, because we all need love. And I tell you what, here's the other side of that. When you do love, you are going to get love back, right? But don't sweat it. Don't force it. It will come back, and it might not come back from that situation, but it's going to come back from somewhere else, because love makes sure it pays you back.
Yes, all so good. And you reminded me of the St. Francis quote that said, it is in giving that we receive. It's in the giving that we receive. And is that who I am, or is it what I do? Am I a human being or human doing? I want to pin this to a story, because I know from Jim Quick, who's an amazing scientist about how the brain works, talks about how stories stick and principles rarely do. Boy, I know that from experience. So here's a story to pin these principles on for those that are listening. And this is a Tony Robbins story, which I saw him, tears streaming down his face as he shared the story. He says when he was 17 years old and he had no money to his name, no notoriety, no nothing. He was just a kid living out of his car after leaving home because things were pretty bad there, like really bad, like life-threatening. And he had no idea what to do. And he got down to like less than $20 in his pocket. And he went to one of his favorite diners and he thought, should I break this into two parts so I get 2 meals out of it? Or should I just really splurge on this last meal? And he had no idea where the next dollar would come from. He had no prospects, no jobs, no income at all. And as he was sitting there looking at the menu, trying to figure out, should I make 1 meal or 2 meals as what I got left? He overheard behind him, in this table behind him, a little boy and his mom. And he could just hear the conversation because he was all alone. And the little boy was like, happy birthday, Mom. So nice to be able to take you out to lunch. And I wish I could buy something for you, but at least we're together. Just something like along those lines. And then Tony Robbins says, at one point, the mom says, excuse me, I need to use the restroom. And as she went to the restroom, Tony turns around to the little boy and he says, oh, way to go, little man. You're giving your mom a birthday party. And the little boy says, I wish. And Tony says, what do you mean? He says, what? I don't have any money, so my mom has to pay for her own birthday. And Tony Robbins said, I'm going to choke up. Tony Robbins said in that moment, he knew exactly what to do. He took his last $17.75 or whatever it is, and he hands it to the boy and he says, give your mom the best birthday party you can. Don't even tell her where it came from. Just do it, right? God, I'm going to cry. And then Tony says, I wanted so bad to stay there and see what happened, but I thought that would be awkward and funky and maybe look a little creepy. So I got up and I excused myself from the diner. But he said, as I was walking out the door, I knew from that point on why I'm here. I'm not here to get. I'm here to give. And Tony Robbins, as we know, has become a multi-million-dollar billionaire, an influencer. He's changed lives all over the world, including my own, right? because of that incident, not because of all the power and influence that he has. It was before he had power or influence that it came to him. It dawned on him just like a clarity all this moment. I know exactly what my life's about. It's to make somebody else's life better. And as a result, he's touched hundreds and thousands and millions of lives. And I got to tell you, Steve-O, that's compelling, right? That's compelling.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. And think about that. All the lives that Tony Robbins touched was because a kid.
Yes.
Because of a kid who had a need.
With no money, right?
He had no money. If he had and I saw this video on one of the social medias the other day, and the guy said, if you're sitting there going, how come I never get anything good? How come it always goes to everybody else? He said, maybe it's because you're the good that somebody else is going to get, And,
yes, that's really good. Say it again. Don't pass.
He said, we sit there, and I'm kind of butchered a little bit. I wish I would have memorized it, but I did favor it so I can go back. But anyway, he said something along the lines of, we sit there and guess and say, how come the good things never happen to me? How come all the breaks go to everyone else? How come all the good stuff doesn't happen to me? And he says, maybe you're the good that's supposed to be for somebody else. And I can't control how other people give to me, but I can control how I give to them. In that situation, I mean, that changed his life. And I think we would be remiss if we didn't go to this point. I wanted to make sure we at least hit this. St. Francis said that it is in giving that we receive, but it's in receiving that someone can give. I came across a quote, and I think it was in the Bible, but I have not been able to find it since. And it didn't make sense with me when I first saw it, because it said something along the lines of, it's just as important to receive as it is to give. And we were always trained, we started with you talking about how we're always, it's better to give than it is to receive. And as kids, we didn't get that. We would have understood this quote. It's just as important to receive as it is to give. But as I thought about that, Tony Robbins, if that kid wasn't in need, and if the kid didn't share his need,
right,
then Tony Robbins, who knows what path he would have taken. Maybe he just would have went down the path later on in life.
Right.
But because that kid had a need, it answered Tony's question. Do I spend all this or some of it, or how I spend it on me? For someone to give, someone else has to receive. And when we want to help somebody, but somebody says, no, I'm good. I don't like, I'm good about as much as I like, I'm fine. I don't like either of those two statements because
they're
default. Right. They are for it. Right. Exactly. So when someone wants to give, whether you need it or not, from a giver, from a person who likes to give, just say, thank you.
Thank you.
It's embarrassing. That's okay. We don't want to kill your pride or we don't want to hurt your pride. We want to kill it. Right. Just when someone wants to give, don't say I'm good. No, I'm fine. I'm my own guy. I can handle whatever reason. And I get why we would say I'm good. We don't want to take money, or we don't want to take help from somebody, but they can't give if you don't receive. So if it's in giving that we receive, then we have to be able to receive. Right. For that person to give, for them to be able to receive the joy of giving. And listen, if they want to give and you don't want to receive it anyway, and then give it to somebody else, right? Just turn right back around and give what you had to somebody else, because that giving is more contagious than any. I mean, it's a happy demic. I mean, happy giving, it's so contagious. And when that happens, you follow someone who got a free coffee because the car in front of them bought it, and follow them throughout the day and see all the people that they've helped, all the people that's what happens. And the opposite is true too. That's why the takers, they might eat well because they're taking, but the givers feel well. The givers sleep well, right? Yes. And that's what I want. I want the peace. Because when I die, I'm not going to sit there and say, I wish I had more money, unless it was to give more money to my family, right? I'm not going to say, I wish I went on more vacations, unless it was to make memories with my family, which I can make without taking them on vacation. I kind of went on a diatribe there, but I think it's important. We have to be able to receive if someone else is going to give, and givers, they sleep well, man. They sleep well.
So as we close this episode, and we will open up another one just shortly, and if you are willing and able, you can join us on chatmonster.com and be part of the live broadcast, either on speaker and or on camera. It's totally up to you.
We would love that.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. But here's what I want to end on this episode, Steve-O. And this is, you talked about paradoxes. Life is often a paradox where two things that seem to be opposites are both true at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm of the opinion it's in the paradox where we really see what life is like. In fact, I think it's where we see God. And that's my own opinion. You don't have to believe that. But let's take this infinity loop. You and I have talked about the infinity loop before. And what if on one side is giving, the other side is receiving?
I love it.
And what if giving and receiving are part of one big infinite loop?
Come on, Joe.
Yes. And what if you can't give without receiving? And what if
Come on.
What if you can't receive without giving? Right?
Man.
What if it's required? Just like breathing. Here's what I'm going to leave you with. With breathing, if you inhale and you hold it for long enough, you'll pass out. In breathing, if you exhale and you hold it long enough, you'll pass out. That's not living. Living is inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
Inhale and exhale. It's required. It's an infinite.
Give,
That's what living.
receive.
Yes.
Give, receive, give, receive. The trees take our breath
Yes.
and they grow and they give us back oxygen and we
Yes.
breathe it. And life is just meant that way, isn't it?
It's
What a great
built up.
analogy, Joe. What
That's
a great analogy.
Yeah. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Mary, for being here live on Chatmosa. Thank you for those on TikTok. We're going to keep TikTok rolling as we roll into the next half hour to create our happy hour today. So thank you, Steve-O, for being such a great host. And I'm going to have to breathe into this thing in order to make noise.
And you're going to have to inhale.
Inhale, exhale.
It makes music, man. It makes music. And when
Inhale,
you-
exhale, baby.
It makes music. Give, receive. It makes music. Our lives were made to make music. So give, receive, and repeat.
Yes,
Right
and
on.
repeat. All right.
Woo-hoo.
Steve-O, peace out and
Peace in.
peace in. Catch you on the next episode.